Welcome back. Being an educator is a challenging and rewarding career. One of the biggest challenges is understanding the art of teaching. We are inundated with the science and technical aspects of teaching. However, we don't revisit the artful aspects of teaching very often. There is an art to what educators do. The art entails the nuances of teaching and cannot be explained by pedagogy alone. Let's take a look at what I mean. All right, so let's jump right into the art of teaching. So we're looking at an overview and a definition. We're going to have a purpose, look at some traits, some considerations and strategies, as well as benefits and how to balance. And then we'll close out with keys to remember. So the art of teaching is both the science and the art, right? So we're looking at the nuances of being an instructor. We're not talking about pedagogy. We're not talking about content. We're not talking about necessarily lesson plans. We're talking more about the knowledge, blending of the knowledge, the creativity, and the emotional intelligence that teachers have in order to instruct their classrooms. So it focuses on impact, not just delivery. So this is to give you a simple scenario. You have the transfer educator who's coming in from, let's say, accounting. You know, they've been working in accounting for 20 years. They're going to come in and be your high school math, instructor. They have content knowledge. They know what they're talking about, but now they have to figure out how to convey that knowledge best to the students that are in front of them, right? So that's the learning curve for them. So it's not just the understanding of the content knowledge, it's that emotional intelligence, that creativity, that personality, that wherewithal in order to teach your lessons. And this is a concept that really doesn't get harped on too much because we focus so much on the instruction. But we have to teach and remind teachers of the nuances of teaching, and we have to be able to give them specific means to go about understanding the nuances and improving on that so they can improve their efficacy. So I put the caption current school context, right? Because as it stands, it is what it is. We have a compulsory education system. It is what it is. Ideally, I would like to see a different format, but that's different, right? So this information is contextualized into the current format, what you see on the normal day-to-day basis. So what is the purpose of teaching? You want to inspire lifelong learning, develop critical thinking, foster growth, and prepare students for real-world success, right? And you can't just do that just by delineating information. You have to make connections. So some of the traits of effective teachers. So we have passion. Why are you doing this? Do you really have a passion for teaching? Because you're going to need that passion when everything goes wrong, or there's a week of chaos, or things get tumultuous. You're going to need that passion. You're going to need to pull on something. Effective communication, whether it's with colleagues, parents, students, what have you. Patience. Okay. Adaptability, high expectations. This is something that kind of gets looked over or kind of wears out after a while too. You come in as a first year teacher, I'm going to change the world, boom, boom, boom. By year 3, you're like, oh, these kids are never going to learn. Well, if you don't expect them to, and we have a video on that too, if you need a refresher, these kids are never going to learn. If that's your expectation that they're not going to learn, 9 times out of 10, they will meet your expectations. Okay. And then you have to be reflective. Am I doing everything that I need to do? So the teacher as an artist, what do? They design engaging lessons, not busy work, not playtime per se. It's engaging lessons. They incorporate a variety of strategies. They try different things. They adapt in real time. So here's that flexibility and that patience. Oh, you know what? I'm in the middle of the lesson. This is going terribly wrong. What can I do? What can I pull out of my toolbox that will help me, make this more engaging and make the students more receptive to this information? And they use creativity to simplify ideas. Everything doesn't have to be, complicated. I taught grammar. I had to find out and play around with different ways, to take a presumably boring subject. I mean, it is what it is, grammar, and find creative ways for kids to interact with it, whether it was gamification, using Jeopardy boards, whether it was project-based, presentations on the different parts of speech, what have you. You have to use your creativity to simplify the ideas. Everything can't be, these conundrums that kids have to figure out. We have to break it down, make it palatable for them, right? So what do effective teachers consider? Well, when they walk into a classroom, when they're dealing with a class, they consider student diversity. They consider the classroom culture. What are their curriculum goals? They consider time management, equity, and inclusion. So without even, necessarily saying these specific topics in order per se, right? They consider these things just innately. Okay, this is the art of it. This is the art of understanding who you're teaching, what are the best means of getting this information across to them, providing an environment that is resourceful and can help them reach those goals, establishing, smart goals, attainable goals, ensuring that everyone feels welcome in the classroom. And they do it in a manner that's effective as far as time management. They know they don't have an exhaustive amount of time, an unlimited amount of time. So they have to make sure that they're structuring their plans accordingly. So one of the things that effective teachers do, one of the art aspects is building rapport, establishing relationships. You learn students' interest, right? You learn who your student is, what makes them tick, what problems they may have, what skills they may possess, what advanced skills they may possess. You understand who your students are. You show genuine care, right? You show genuine care. You are my student. I care about you. I want you to succeed. And when you do that consistently, students respond to you differently. You create a safe environment. Students shouldn't feel, threatened. They shouldn't feel, anxiety coming into your classroom. It's a safe environment. And establishing those relationships also builds trust. Okay. It's very hard to teach somebody that does not trust you. So establishing those nuances of a safe environment, the trust, the care, the interest, those things are not in your pedagogy. Those things are not in your lesson plan per se. Those things are not in the content per se. Those are things that you as the educator have to bring to the table. So what are some of the strategies that effective teachers use? When it comes to the art, they have differentiation. That's their creativity. They utilize scaffolding because they understand the needs of their students. They can't throw everything at them at once. They chunk it up. They break it up. They use questioning, whether it's to have the students elaborate, critically think, or maybe it's to find out more about their interests in order to incorporate it into the lesson. They foster collaboration. Why? Because creative and effective teachers know that the art of teaching, I can't do everything by myself, right? I have 30 kids. It's only one of me. I can't do everything by myself. I need to allow them to work with each other. That's why creating a safe environment, a welcoming environment, an inclusive environment is important, because when you're doing collaboration, you want to make sure that everybody feels, a part of the collaboration process. Also, hands-on learning. Everything doesn't need to be pencil paper. It doesn't need to be on the tablet. It doesn't need to be digital. Some hands-on learning, some kinesthetic things. Get my hands dirty. Use some of that energy. If you've ever tried a hands-on learning activity, you will find that all that extra energy that kids are, bottling up, which makes it difficult to give direct instruction, all of a sudden, they don't have that energy anymore because they've used it in the kinesthetic process. when you think about the art of teaching, you want to foster engagement, right? So making real world connections, again, students' interest, interactive activities, and you can even use storytelling. So when it comes to the art of teaching, this is where that classroom management really shines, right? Because when you've mastered that art of teaching, classroom management becomes that much easier. You set clear expectations, you're consistent, the routines are established, and you balance firmness with care. I can use examples from my own experience in which I was very firm, but they knew that the rules, the routines, the expectations that I had were because I wanted the best for them and I wanted the best out of them. And because I was consistent with them, students respected that and they met those expectations, for the most part. I still see them today at the stores, hey, Dr. G, hey, Mr. G, I had you in the class, I had you for my ninth grade English, the stuff you taught me, really helped out. It really helped me understand the world that I was, going to be going out into. I understand it more now. You as the teacher, part of the art of teaching is understanding that you might not see the results, right then and there. You might not see it at the end of the year, but maybe 2 years from now, you don't know whether you're planting or watering, right? The growth comes from the student. It doesn't come from you. So you might not see the end result of all this effort that you're putting in. Just trust and know that it is having an impact because you're dealing with students. So when it comes to assessment and feedback, there's some nuances to that as well. It's not just clear cut as, oh, here, take this test, right? So you want to have formative and summative assessments. You want to give timely feedback. It could be in-person conference. It could be digital. It could be collaborative in the sense of you're pairing students up, peer reviews. You want to allow students to have self-assessments. Maybe you do a learning style inventory, personality inventory. Let them self-assess to see who they are and what works for them. And then you want to have data-driven instruction. Now, this may sound more like the science, but when we talk about data, it doesn't have to be numbers. It could be qualitative data. Maybe it's a survey that you did with your students, or, as you were using proximity, you asked a couple of questions as you walked around the classroom. Now you're going to use that data because now you have more information about students' interests. You're going to use that data to drive your instruction. So what are the benefits of honing and building the efficacy of the art of teaching? Professional growth. You're going to grow. If you're putting forth the effort to understand the art aspect of teaching, you will grow. You have stronger relationships because you're fostering relationships. You're building rapport with parents. You're building rapport with administration. You're building rapport with your students. You have a sense of purpose, right? Because now you understand it's not just about, oh, what did they score on the MCAT test, or what did they score on the, the state test? It doesn't matter. And what I mean by it doesn't matter means that's not your end goal. Your end goal is to create that lifelong learner. That end goal is to prepare students for the real world. Okay, so your sense of purpose is increased when you realize, oh, it's not just about the content. There are other aspects that I can work on to help students as well. And then you have a higher level of job satisfaction, believe it or not. What are the student benefits? They gain more confidence, they have higher engagement, they begin to think critically, and ultimately they perform better. And for the school, hey, principal, I need to focus on the art of teaching. What do you mean? I need to focus on my rapport. I need to focus on, being more creative and having more engaging activities. Well, that's not what the curriculum says, but here are the benefits for the school. Mr. Principal, you'll have an improved culture because the students are more engaged. You have less discipline problems. You'll have higher achievement. Those MCAT numbers are going to look better, Mr. Principal, if you let me focus on the art of teaching. You have better collaboration. And like I mentioned, you have reduced behavior issues. So it's not just, a benefit for the teacher themselves. It's a benefit for the whole community, school community. The impact on achievement. Engagement boosts learning. The more engaged students are, with the learning, the more they will perform. Relationships improve outcomes. The more you can relate and build rapport with your students, the more they are engaged, the more they participate, the more they can learn. And we see it again, those high expectations matter. If you don't expect much from them, they will not give you much. If you expect high expectations and provide the environment and resources necessary, students will achieve. So the balancing act, right? So science equals strategies. That's what we're familiar with. We're familiar with the pedagogy. We're familiar with the content. We're familiar with the lesson plan templates, this, that, and the other. But you need to add the art, the creativity, and that's how you equate to effective teaching. So what are some of the common challenges to, honing this art aspect? Time constraints, diverse needs, external influences, burnout, limited resources. All these things can play a part in discouraging you from focusing on the art of teaching. So what are some ways to overcome these challenges? You plan ahead. You collaborate with like-minded teachers. Okay? You reflect and you maintain that balance. Infuse your creativity. Believe it or not, 80% of the school year, it's just you and those kids. You close that door, you're teaching 80% of the time, if not more, it's just you and those kids, right? Maintain that balance. Use that creativity. Use that creativity. You have the opportunity. You really have the autonomy to do that. So just a quick quote. Great teachers inspire, connect, and transform lives. I'll let you sit on that. No need to explain. So what are our keys to remember? Our keys to remember. Teaching is a craft. It's not auto mechanics. It's not, lab science. We're dealing with people. We're dealing with people. Yes, they are children, but they're people. So it's a craft. There's an art to it. Relationships matter when it comes to that. Okay. Engagement, fostering engagement is key. And remember, the expectation that every student can succeed. We just need to give them the environment, the resources, and the support that they need to do so. That is the art of teaching. We hope that was helpful. Remember, knowing the content is only half the battle. Understanding your own and your students' needs and how you can meet those needs is the other half. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.